Have you ever been in that frustrating place where someone you're interested in completely ignores you? You've sent a text, maybe even put an extra thought to make it witty or engaging, and then silence. Days go by. You see her online, posting stories, sharing updates, laughing with friends, but there's no reply for you. It's almost as if you've become invisible, and you can't help but wonder, asterisk, did I do something wrong? Was I too eager? Asterisk, you start to replay every conversation, analyze each word, searching for some clue about what went wrong. This is where most people find themselves stuck lost in a cycle of self-doubt, waiting for a response that may never come, feeling as though their worth hangs on the other person's acknowledgement. But what if there was a way to break the cycle? What if her silence wasn't about you at all, and the power to shift the entire situation lay in your hands? This is where the ancient wisdom of Stoicism steps in, teaching us a powerful lesson. While we can't control the actions or reactions of others, we have absolute control over how we respond. This mindset shift can transform what seems like rejection into an opportunity for growth, resilience, and even attraction. In fact, by focusing on your own confidence and independence, you can flip the script entirely, showing that your happiness and self-worth aren't determined by anyone's attention or approval. In this story, we'll explore how to handle silence with strength and composure, to stay centered and unshaken, and to cultivate a level of self-control that few possess. This isn't about games, manipulation, or pretending to be someone you're not. Instead, it's about becoming the best, most resilient version of yourself, a person who's truly magnetic because they're grounded in their own worth. By the end, you'll have the tools to navigate these situations with poise and power, knowing that true attraction lies in the confidence that no silence or rejection can ever diminish your value. Are you ready to master this mindset? Let's dive in and discover the Stoic path to taking back your power. 1. The real reason she's ignoring you doesn't matter. When a woman ignores your messages or chooses not to respond, it's natural to start questioning yourself, wondering if you did something wrong or if your approach was off. You might even replay your conversations, trying to pinpoint where things went south. However, the Stoic approach to dating teaches that this kind of self-questioning often only reinforces unnecessary insecurities. While it's easy to think that her silence is a reflection on you, the reality is often quite different. Ignoring isn't always a sign of rejection or disinterest. Sometimes, people test each other's emotional resilience by seeing how the other reacts to unresponsiveness. In other cases, it's simply a sign that she's distracted by her own life, friends, or work. She could also be processing her own feelings, not knowing yet if she wants to pursue anything further with you. In the world of modern dating, subtle mind games and power dynamics can be common as people seek validation or control over each other's emotions. In these moments, remember that her choice to ignore you is largely about her, not you. The reasons behind her actions may vary, but none of them should determine your self-worth or how you choose to respond. The Stoic perspective helps you see her actions as external events, not something to internalize. Whatever her reasons, they don't have to affect your sense of self or how you value yourself. Instead of viewing her silence as a blow to your confidence, consider it as an opportunity to practice resilience and emotional independence. By choosing not to overthink her motives, you take back control of the situation. In doing so, you ensure that her behavior doesn't dictate your mood, your day, or your confidence. Her actions don't define you. They're just part of the complex dynamics of dating, where each person brings their own needs, experiences, and insecurities. When you feel tempted to question your actions, remind yourself that no single interaction or person should have such power over you. Being ignored by someone you care about can sting, but it's also a powerful reminder of how crucial it is to build your inner confidence and sense of worth. Ultimately, her silence becomes insignificant in the broader perspective of your own self-respect and resilience. By embracing the Stoic principle of distinguishing between what you can and cannot control, you empower yourself to react thoughtfully rather than emotionally. Her actions may be beyond your control, but your response, attitude, and self-worth are entirely in your hands. In this way, you can navigate dating dynamics with confidence, composure, and a strong sense of self-respect. 2. Mastering your emotional response, the power of self-control. When someone ignores you, especially someone you care about, it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling anxious, questioning your worth, and wondering if you did something wrong. This reaction is normal, but Stoicism offers an alternative path, one where you are in control of your emotions, rather than letting them control you. Stoicism teaches that while we can't control the actions of others, we always have the power to control our response. In situations where someone is unresponsive or distant, this ability to remain composed and self-controlled becomes your greatest strength. Consider how easy it is to check your phone repeatedly, hoping for a message that doesn't come. Each time you look and see nothing, it feels like a small hit to your self-worth. You start to wonder why they haven't replied, replaying conversations in your head, analyzing your words, and doubting yourself. However, every time you do this, you're giving that person control over your emotions, letting their silence dictate your mood and focus. The more you focus on their lack of response, the more power you hand over to them, often without even realizing it. Stoicism teaches that self-worth should come from within, not from external validation. When you let someone's silence affect your mood, you allow an external force, something beyond your control, to shape your internal state. Instead of letting their actions impact you, take this as a chance to practice emotional independence. Recognize that our choice not to reply has nothing to do with your value. Rather than spiraling into self-doubt, embrace the Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control your response. Imagine that each time you're tempted to react emotionally, you instead choose to stay calm and grounded. By doing so, you're signaling to yourself and to others that your sense of self-worth isn't dependent on anyone's approval or attention. This doesn't mean you're indifferent. It means you've cultivated enough emotional resilience to remain unfazed by fleeting interactions. This approach is not about pretending you don't care. It's about genuinely prioritizing your peace and well-being. The next time someone ignores you, remind yourself that you don't have to react with desperation, anger, or self-doubt. Instead, take a step back, breathe deeply, and refocus on what makes you feel confident and secure. Practice patience and let the silence be an opportunity for self-reflection rather than self-criticism. By controlling your reaction, you take back the power that might otherwise be handed over to someone else's actions. This calm, steady approach allows you to remain in control, making you more attractive to others and, most importantly, to yourself. In the end, mastering your emotional response isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about ensuring that you're not a slave to them. It's about being strong enough to face rejection, uncertainty, and silence without losing your balance. By holding on to this inner strength, you demonstrate that your confidence and value come from within, making you truly unshakable in any relationship or interaction. 3. Avoid the temptation to chase. Embrace the power of doing nothing. In moments of silence, when someone doesn't respond as you'd hoped, it's tempting to reach out again, to send that second message, or even express frustration over their lack of reply. However, this approach often backfires. When you double text or seek reassurance from someone who's not engaging, you're actually giving away your power. Instead, the Stoic approach suggests something revolutionary: do nothing. It's a form of strength that says, I am secure enough in myself not to chase after someone's attention. When you refrain from pursuing someone who isn't reciprocating, you're making a powerful statement. You're saying that you value yourself too much to let someone else's actions dictate your peace of mind. Doing nothing might feel counterintuitive, especially when every instinct urges you to reach out. Yet, Stoicism emphasizes that control over your response is your true strength, not control over other people's reactions. The idea of doing nothing isn't about playing mind games or showing indifference to prove a point. It's about genuinely recognizing that your sense of worth and happiness shouldn't hinge on anyone else's validation. When someone ignores you, they're creating a void that can either be filled with insecurity and doubt, or with a calm, unshaken sense of self. By choosing not to react, you let the void remain empty, signaling that you're unaffected by their silence. Imagine you're tempted to check your phone constantly, hoping for a message from them. Instead of succumbing to this habit, redirect that energy towards something productive. Perhaps there's a skill you've been meaning to learn, a project you'd like to start, or simply a moment to unwind with a hobby. Each time you focus on something that fulfills you, you reclaim the energy that would have otherwise been spent on someone else's lack of response. This not only strengthens your confidence, but also reminds you that you're enough on your own. When you don't chase, you communicate a silent message of strength and self-assurance. People are naturally drawn to those who are secure in themselves, and by demonstrating restraint, you cultivate an aura of calm confidence that's hard to ignore. Paradoxically, your lack of pursuit often piques their interest more than if you were to text them persistently. By showing that you are content in your own space, you create an image of self-worth that doesn't waver in the face of someone else's absence. Consider a scenario where, after a great conversation, someone stops responding. Most people would feel compelled to send a follow-up message, perhaps thinking, "Did I do something wrong?" But what if, instead of reacting, you simply went about your day, focusing on what matters to you? You're not being dismissive. Rather, you're practicing self-respect and understanding that the right connections are mutual, not one-sided. Ultimately, the power of doing nothing lies in its simplicity and effectiveness. It's a reminder that you are complete on your own, and anyone who wants to be part of your life will meet you halfway. This approach doesn't mean giving up on relationships. It means prioritizing your own peace over seeking someone else's approval. By choosing to stay centered and self-reliant, you establish a boundary that says, "I am worth more than someone else's inconsistent attention." 4. Shift the focus back to you, reclaiming your energy and attention. When someone ignores you, it's easy to feel frustrated or even helpless, as though your entire mood hinges on their response. However, one of the most empowering things you can do in this situation is to shift your focus back onto yourself. Instead of pouring your energy into wondering why she isn't replying, redirect it toward becoming the best version of yourself. This isn't about proving anything to her or making her notice you. It's about investing in your own growth and fulfillment. The time and energy you might spend overthinking her silence can be channeled into things that truly enhance your life. When you take this approach, you turn a potentially disheartening experience into an opportunity for self-improvement. You can dive into activities that fulfill you and build confidence, whether it's going to the gym, setting personal or career goals, or even learning a new skill you've always wanted to master. When you immerse yourself in your passions, you're not just distracted, you're actively growing and evolving. Focusing on self-improvement isn't merely a distraction. It's a declaration that you value your own journey. Picture a situation where you've decided to dedicate time each day to your health or your personal development. Perhaps you commit to a fitness routine, a professional goal, or a hobby that brings you joy. As you see progress in these areas, you'll notice a boost in confidence that doesn't depend on anyone else's acknowledgement. You're creating a fulfilling life that makes you feel proud and content, independent of anyone else's presence or absence. What's remarkable is that when you focus on yourself, others naturally become more intrigued by your sense of purpose and self-sufficiency. People are drawn to those who exude confidence and passion, and this newfound focus will make you more attractive not only to her, but to anyone who values ambition and drive. You stop seeking external validation and start creating a life that is rich in fulfillment, driven by your own goals and aspirations. Investing in yourself can look different for everyone. For some, it might mean hitting the gym consistently to achieve fitness goals. For others, it could involve diving into a project, mastering a new skill, or even reconnecting with old friends who lift you up. Whatever it is, these activities fuel your self-esteem and remind you that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's approval or attention. This shift in focus transforms your entire mindset. You start to see that you are in control of your happiness, and you don't need someone else's responses to feel complete. When you put yourself at the center of your priorities, you're building a life that is rich, meaningful, and entirely your own. Over time, you'll find that her silence is barely a blip on the radar compared to the fulfilling experiences and achievements you're cultivating for yourself. In summary, reclaiming your focus means making yourself the priority and using this time for personal growth. Instead of waiting on someone else to validate your worth, you're investing in things that matter to you. This not only boosts your confidence, but also makes you more resilient and self-sufficient. Ultimately, this approach will help you build a life that feels rewarding and complete, regardless of anyone else's presence or absence. 5. Reverse psychology. The power of letting go. When someone ignores you, it's tempting to try to win their attention back by doubling down on your efforts sending extra messages, trying to remind them of your presence. However, there's a powerful technique that often works far better: reverse psychology. In this case, that means responding to her silence not by chasing, but by letting go and allowing her to experience your absence. It's about showing her, without words, that you're unaffected by her lack of response. Reverse psychology doesn't mean you're playing games or being insincere. Instead, it's a subtle way of demonstrating your independence and emotional resilience. By choosing not to respond to her silence with more attention, you shift the dynamic. She may begin to wonder why you aren't affected, why you aren't following up, or if she's misjudged your level of interest. This curiosity can create a shift in her perspective, making her see you in a new, more attractive light. Imagine you're in a situation where she hasn't responded to a few of your texts. Rather than becoming anxious and sending another message, or even worse, asking why she's ignoring you, consider this approach. Let it be. Instead of pursuing, focus on yourself. Post pictures of yourself out with friends, working on your goals, or enjoying your hobbies. Show that your life continues to be full and vibrant, whether or not she chooses to engage with you. This isn't about making her jealous, but about demonstrating that you're happy and secure, no matter what. When you show her that you're unaffected, you subtly communicate that you're a person of high value who doesn't need constant validation. This independence can be extremely attractive because it breaks away from the typical pattern of neediness or desperation that many people display when ignored. By not chasing, you create an aura of mystery and self-assurance, suggesting that you're perfectly content on your own. Reverse psychology works because it shifts the power dynamic without manipulation. When you stop giving her the attention she expects, she begins to question her assumptions about you. Did she misread your interest level? Is she missing out on someone who's secure and in control? Suddenly, you're not the one seeking validation she is. This reversal of roles often leads to her reaching out, not because you manipulated her, but because she realizes she may have underestimated your confidence and value. This approach is about respecting yourself enough not to engage in a one-sided pursuit. It's about showing that while you may have interest, you're not dependent on anyone's attention to feel complete. When she eventually reaches out, respond calmly and with a light-hearted attitude, as though her silence never affected you. Don't bring up the fact that she ignored you, just carry on as if everything is normal. This calm and composed reaction reinforces your self-assured image. In essence, using reverse psychology is about allowing her to experience your strength and self-worth through your actions, not your words. By showing that her attention doesn't determine your happiness, you become a person of true inner strength, someone who's magnetic because they don't need anyone else's validation to feel complete. This quiet confidence speaks volumes, making you someone she's far more likely to respect and be drawn to over time. 6. Stay calm and unbothered. The strength in emotional stability. One of the most common mistakes people make when they're ignored by someone they're interested in is to lose their composure. They might feel anxious, frustrated, or even angry, and these emotions can lead to impulsive actions like sending a frustrated message or questioning why they're being ignored. However, this reaction often has the opposite effect of what they intended. Showing emotional instability gives away your power and reveals that you're affected by their silence, which diminishes your appeal and control. Stoicism teaches that calmness, especially in the face of unexpected or unpleasant situations, is a form of power. By maintaining your composure, you're telling yourself and others that your emotional state is not easily influenced by external factors. Staying calm and unbothered when someone ignores you isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about genuinely not letting their actions dictate your peace of mind. This approach not only protects your mental well-being, but also subtly conveys confidence and strength, traits that are inherently attractive. Imagine you're in a scenario where you've sent a message, but there's no response. Rather than spiraling into negative thoughts or letting impatience take over, remind yourself to breathe and take a step back. Focus on something that brings you peace, whether it's going for a run, reading a book, or working on a project you're passionate about. This way, instead of getting lost in emotions, you're channeling your energy into productive and fulfilling activities. This practice reinforces that you're in control of your emotions, not at the mercy of someone else's attention. Staying calm and collected in situations like these requires a mindset shift. Remind yourself that your happiness and self-worth are not dependent on someone else's response. When you can master this approach, you're building resilience against the typical anxieties and doubts that often arise in dating. Instead of feeling hurt or rejected, you cultivate a sense of inner peace that doesn't waver. This calmness sends a powerful message to others. You're self-assured and grounded, traits that naturally draw people toward you. In the long run, this calm confidence makes you more attractive. People, including romantic interests, are instinctively drawn to those who exude stability and aren't easily rattled by minor setbacks. By staying unbothered, you establish yourself as someone who is in control of their emotional landscape, which sets you apart from others who might react impulsively. This strength can be magnetic because it shows that you're not seeking validation. You're confident in your own value. The next time someone ignores you, resist the urge to act out of frustration or to send a follow-up message. Instead, lean into your calmness and focus on activities that reinforce your sense of self-worth. Go for a walk, listen to uplifting music, or lose yourself in a task that matters to you. By choosing peace over impulsiveness, you're affirming that your emotional state is something only you controlled. In essence, staying calm and unbothered when someone ignores you is about mastering your reactions. It's about showing strength and stability, regardless of others' actions. This calm resilience is not only empowering, but also adds to your magnetism, making you a person who stands out. After all, emotional stability is rare and deeply appealing, and by embodying it, you elevate your presence and attractiveness in any situation. 7. Detach from the outcome. Freedom through letting go. One of the ultimate lessons in Stoicism, especially when navigating relationships, is to detach from the outcome. Detachment means letting go of the need for things to go a certain way. Whether she responds to you or doesn't, whether she's interested or isn't, your peace remains intact. This sense of detachment is one of the greatest forms of personal freedom. It doesn't mean you don't care. It means you prioritize your inner well-being above any external validation. In relationships and dating, many people attach their happiness and self-worth to the reactions of others. This attachment makes every interaction feel high stakes, creating stress and dependency. By detaching from the outcome, you give yourself the freedom to enjoy the process without the weight of expectations. Detachment allows you to appreciate people and experiences without needing them to fulfill or validate you. Imagine you're waiting for her to text back. Detachment in this context means accepting that whether she replies or not has no bearing on your sense of self-worth. Your peace, happiness, and confidence are independent of her actions. This detachment isn't apathy, it's empowerment. It's about recognizing that your value isn't defined by someone else's attention or approval. When you let go of needing a specific response, you find a deep sense of calm because your happiness no longer depends on external factors. Detachment also creates an attractive quality of independence. People are naturally drawn to those who are confident and self-sufficient, who don't rely on others for validation. When you approach relationships with a mindset of detachment, you're not easily swayed by minor setbacks or rejections. You remain steady, grounded, and unaffected, which can make you stand out. This attitude signals that you're secure and happy within yourself, qualities that are universally appealing. Learning to detach from the outcome is a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of focusing on whether she'll respond or not, focus on cultivating a fulfilling life for yourself. Use the time you would spend waiting or worrying to invest in your personal goals, health, or interests. Each moment you devote to your own growth is a step toward becoming someone who is complete on their own. This independence not only makes you more resilient, but also enhances your confidence in all areas of life. Detachment is also liberating because it removes the fear of rejection. When you're attached to a specific outcome, rejection feels devastating, as if it reflects poorly on your worth. But when you're detached, you understand that rejection is just part of the process and it doesn't define you. You can engage with others freely, knowing that your happiness doesn't hinge on a single interaction. This mindset fosters a sense of fearlessness, allowing you to navigate relationships with ease and openness. In conclusion, detaching from the outcome empowers you to live authentically and fully. It means valuing yourself enough to accept any response without letting it alter your self-worth. Detachment is about the freedom to be content, regardless of someone else's actions. It's about building a life that is rich, fulfilling, and joyful, independent of anyone else's validation. In embracing this freedom, you create a sense of inner peace that is truly magnetic, allowing you to navigate relationships with strength, resilience, and a calm assurance that you are enough just as you are. As we wrap up this journey, remember, the true strength lies not in changing someone else's actions, but in mastering your own responses. In relationships and life, there will always be moments that test your confidence, your patience, and your sense of self-worth. Learning to stay calm and centered through these moments, like a true Stoic, is not just a skill, it's a pathway to personal freedom and fulfillment. By focusing on your own growth, independence, and inner peace, you become resilient, powerful, and truly attractive in a way that doesn't rely on anyone else's validation. Imagine facing silence, rejection, or uncertainty with complete calm and self-assurance. No longer are you someone who anxiously waits for messages or loses sleep over someone's interest. Instead, you become someone who's confident and whole, regardless of external circumstances. You're building a life that's rich, purposeful, and fulfilling on its own. Ironically, the more you focus on yourself and let go of the need for validation, the more others are drawn to you. People naturally respect and admire those who are grounded and self-sufficient, qualities that you're cultivating every time you practice Stoicism in your daily life. If this message resonates with you, and if you're ready to keep growing, building confidence, and mastering your emotions, make sure to subscribe. Join a community of individuals who, like you, are committed to transforming their mindset and approaching life with resilience and strength. This isn't just about dating advice. It's about equipping yourself with the tools to excel in all areas of life, relationships, career, self-development, and beyond. Each new video will offer fresh insights into self-empowerment, mindset mastery, and practical advice for living life as the best version of yourself. Don't let this lesson end here. Make it part of your personal journey. Hit subscribe, stay connected, and let's continue walking this path together. Every step forward is a step toward a life that's confident, grounded, and unshakable. Your next chapter of growth and fulfillment begins here. Subscribe, follow along, and let's take this journey toward becoming unbreakable, mastering not only our relationships, but our entire lives. Embrace the power within you, and let's build the life you've always wanted together.